All right. Well, good. Hey, good afternoon, good morning, whatever area you're in. It's 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. This is the More Training, Coaching, and Accountability call with Coach Kathy Ryan, Coach Tim Yates, and myself, Robert Weichelt. We are part of an organization that has a lot of different specialty coaches, and uh, today is no different. We're going to share some tools from cash offers to estate planning. We're going to go into a deep dive and find out what's going on in your business. So I think really any good kind of call always starts off with wins. We got to look back. I can tell you my first win is waking up this morning. That's certainly a win. Every day you wake up is a win. So it's not that hard to look for wins, but I'm a big fan of focusing on wins that have helped me grow my business. That's what this call is about. Whether it be a listing, whether it be working with a seller, whether it be working with a buyer, whether it be working with an investor, or bringing on an agent to help you expand your footprint in the real estate space. So let's open it up. Let's share some wins. I know Kathy, Coach Kathy has a win. So Kathy, why don't you go ahead and share your first win? Start us off.
Well, my first win is I have been working hard to get my coaching and training business off the ground. And one of the things that I've done is I have a masterclass coming up next week on pre-foreclosures. I realized from a couple of masterminds that a lot of agents, especially if you've been in the business less than 10 years, don't understand how foreclosures work. And there's gold in prospecting those pre-foreclosures. So that's my win.
By the way, guys, I don't know if you picked up on it. That's a huge win. Kathy saw an opportunity that needed some assistance, and with her expertise of years and years and years of working in the default space, is bringing an amazing opportunity for agents, whether it be on this call or just any agent out there wanting to know a little bit more about the default space. Take advantage of it. Awesome, Kathy. That is great. Tim, anything to share for the team before we move on to the next wins?
Yeah, I just made one of my BTs an extra $75,500.
BT, explain that.
Oh, sorry, beta testers.
Beta testers.
So as you know, Robert, we've been beta testing our business model in different markets with different professional groups, mostly real estate. But we've also started bringing in, insurance, office owners and other ecosystems, basically with the same premise. So this BT is as an agent, and because he had uncontested divorce, and I got him really skilled in how to have those conversations with uncontested divorce, he had that on his website. He was an LDA before he actually became an agent, which is interesting. But his LDA business, again, like typical thing, didn't know how to manage it, operate it. He didn't like it. He hated working hard to get one deal, and he had to sit behind a computer for hours and knock out hundreds of pages of legal documents. So he's basically said, screw this. I'm going into real estate. And then obviously with our program, I brought it all back together. But in this one scenario, he was able to, because of the uncontested divorce category on his website, he got a call from a past client of his that he did 2 transactions with. The client called him up and said, hey, I noticed you're offering a new service. Can you tell me more about it? He said yes. He explained it to him. The guy said, well, it's not for me. It's for my daughter, who's going to be going through potentially a very long and ugly divorce, but I think this might be a good alternative for her. Got her in connection with her, sold her on the idea, needed to sell the soon-to-be ex-husband on the idea, got in contact with him. He did it. They agreed. They loved the process so much that then he sold their house and then got them each separate houses. So he got 3 transactions and a $2,500 bonus out of the uncontested divorce, netting $77,500.
You know what? That qualifies as a win. I think that's an amazing win. And BT is beta testers. Let the crowd know what LDA means, so we don't have any clarity issues there.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the thing. I think at least right now, the majority of people on our call are in there. So the LDA Eventually, we're going to show that there's two certifications that our firms is offering, and it's at the same time when they complete it. So there's the CLP, which is basically a brand new nationwide professional designation, owned and controlled by us, which means you're a certified legacy pro. So you'll be able to have the CLP designation, which will show the public that you are not just a real estate professional. You're not just a tax professional. You are somebody that is a legacy protector. You are somebody that understands life events, and you are at a much higher level of operation than any other business owner that's out there. So within the CLP, you also have the LDA, which is the legal document assistant, LDA. And that isn't issued by us. That has to be issued by the county. But when you have them pulled together, then you're able to take your business to a whole new level and offer services that you've never been able to offer before to the general public. And you're able to offer them in a way that you have a partner in the whole process, meaning our firm behind the scenes handling all the ugly, dirty, long paperwork that nobody wants to touch, and a lot more aspects to that as well. So this is exciting times. We're at the ground floor, and this thing is, as in my opinion, is going to get huge because it's needed in the market. More income for everybody, more help for everybody.
And I'm pretty sure you're going to go ahead and do a deep dive here in a moment once we stop sharing our wins, right?
Yeah, we're going to go into a deeper dive on some things. Yeah.
Good. Okay, good. Because I'm sure there's some people on the call. We have a lot of acronyms in real estate. When you add on the law world, if you will, the CLP, LDA, BT, there's lots of acronyms in your space. So I look forward to diving into that a little deeper. Any other wins we can share before we get started? Come on, we got some wins. Go ahead, Anthony. What do you got?
All right. Thank you so much, Robert and Tim and Kathy. My name is Anthony O'Connor. I actually own a company called AOPTA, the Property Tax Experts. I am a real estate agent as well. A win this week is we're about halfway, or well, the process of getting our LDA with Tim Yates. So that's really good for our firm. We've had conversations with clients already about, we've kind of designated, we have about 1,500 clients, and we've already designated about 800 that don't have their individual holdings. So these are conversations that are going very well. I just had a gentleman call me yesterday, and he said, my property's been in probate for 7 years. Oh. 7 years. And once it was done last year, I got 4 years of escape bills from the assessor's office, totaling like $35,000. Anything I can do? And I said, not much we can do because you missed some time frames. But I was telling him, like, the property's in your name now, right? He goes, yes. Well, you need to have a trust. You don't want to have this happen again. And the second win, and so we're having conversations about trust like crazy and just bringing more value to what we're doing. The second win is a really good story for a very wealthy person. They had a home in the Palisades that burned down on the 7th of January. Within less than a month, they purchased another house in Santa Monica. They overspent for it by $2 million, spent cash. They just threw cash at it, which is crazy. So they spent $10 million on buying this new property, paid cash for it. We were able to do their calamity claims. So we brought their old tax basis over to the new property. Plus we argued for a higher value prior to transfer. Anyways, on his new property, we ended up getting taken off $2.5 million of assessment off of his new $10 million home. I'm not done with it. But his net now, he's saving around $37,000 a year in property taxes. So if you guys want to know more about what I do, please contact me because we're very passive. We get in front of a lot of people, a lot of homeowners. If anybody's ever interested in learning what we do and how we do it and how you can get in front of people, please contact me because I always felt like this is just a great lead generation. That's
awesome. You know what we need to do, Anthony, is we need to get you on and carve out a good chunk of minutes on this call right here and really have you go into it in the next week or so. Maybe you can put together a nice presentation that we could share with our agents.
I would love to. I love to share. I totally geek out about what I do. So yes, I'd love to share.
That's what this is all about. We're all geeking out together, man. We're just it's about collaboration. It's about sharing ideas and the like. So Anthony, thank you. Kathy, Tim, great wins. All of you, those of you that did not speak up about your wins, if you have some, put them in the chat box. If you do not, let's go get some and let's share them next week. So let's get started with some of our training. We're going to turn it over to Coach Kathy Ryan. She's our coach for Cash Offer Strategy Mastermind. She meets each Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific via Zoom. There's her QR code to jump on her calls. I'm telling you, cash offers are the thing to know about. If you don't have cash offers, you're certainly at a disadvantage. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to turn it over to Coach Kathy Ryan. And Coach Kathy, take it away.
Okay. Thank you. You know, we were just on a call earlier on Larry White's call, and they were talking about the default market. There's a huge uptick in foreclosure filings. What was the numbers? The number was 199,000 for the last quarter of 2025 and 220,000 filings in the first quarter of 2026. There's opportunity out there to go help these homeowners. They're hurting. They don't know what to do. And the majority of them have equity that they can lose. I tell the story that I was talking to one lady who had been in foreclosure. She had $300,000 in equity, and she didn't act, no matter how many times I talked to her. The property ended up going to auction, and she lost the $300,000. It's gone. They don't get it. So helping these people has always been my passion. Even when I started in real estate in 1993, I worked for a broker who did short sales and worked with people in foreclosure. Move forward to 2008. Actually, I started working with people in distress in 2005. That's when the market really started to crash, was in 2005, not in 2008. It just all of a sudden became mainstream media that the housing market has fallen apart. And so I worked with over 1,000 homeowners, counseled them, worked them through loan modifications, forbearance agreements, short sales, or sell their homes. So that is a great place now to get listings. A lot of agents are not going after that niche and going out and trying to help those homeowners. So there's an opportunity to reach out to these homeowners without competing. So one of the things that I wanted to do today was show you how easy it is to put together a presentation to present to these homeowners. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to start with ChatGPT. And this is all AI driven.
And Kathy, before we get started, can you answer me a question? In your opinion, why do you think agents aren't going after that market? Do you cover that in your what you're going to talk about? If you don't, maybe we could talk about that when you're finished.
The reason they don't go after them is because they don't understand them.
Bingo.
And that was the reason that I'm putting together that masterclass next Thursday. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go through step by step. What is a foreclosure? What are the steps? How to approach them, and how to help them, and eventually get the listing.
Take it away. Go for it.
Okay. So I was working here, and ChatGPT, if you're not using it and you're not using the paid version, you're missing out on a lot. Mm-hmm. This has saved me hours and hours upon hours of work just working in ChatGPT. I treat ChatGPT as my business partner, my marketing director. I brainstorm with her. I call her her. And we have conversations. There's a voice tool on your phone, if you download the app, that you can just have a conversation. Click the button and start talking. And she talks back to you. So I do run everything in all of my businesses through the one platform. So I have my real estate business there, now my coaching business there, and my Faith and Freedom t-shirt shop through there. So everything, the memory gets to know me and how I talk and how I respond to people. So when I put in a prompt, so we're going to do a listing presentation, create a listing presentation for pre-foreclosures. So I'm just going to tell ChatGPT, I want to create a listing presentation for pre-foreclosures. I want to include the foreclosure process and timeline, their options, and if you guys haven't read the book, oh goodness, No Fee Agent. It's a great book, and he teaches on how to get your whatever commission you want every single time without an argument from the seller, without any negotiation. And he uses tactical empathy to attract these people. And so I want ChatGPT to use tactical empathy to write this presentation. And I want it to write the prompt, so then I can put it into Gamma to create the presentation.
And Kathy, can I ask a question of the audience real quick? Who
Sure.
on this call is using chat for more than just correcting your emails? Go ahead and put it in the chat box. Say, I'm using chat. Anthony raised his hand. I think chat it do anything for you. So Kathy, go ahead.
Right.
Was just curious if they're using it for just the basics, or if they're actually using it to take their business to another level.
Okay, so because I've been using it all the time, it knows me, it knows my structure and all of that. When you first start using ChatGPT, if you haven't taught it, you need to tell it what you want it to do, who you are. Tell it that you want it to think like a marketing manager and all this stuff. And as you train it, it will remember. Only in the paid version, though, it was just $20 a month. And so it will remember everything about you and create whatever you're creating, emails, marketing, and this listing presentation to your language, to who you are, to your character. So now she's responding back. There's where you truly separate yourself. The presentation should feel like, I understand what you're going through, tactical empathy. Here's a way out. No, not sales, not pressure, clarity plus control. Mm-hmm. Below is your Gamma prompt, written with tactical empathy, simple language, structured to guide a distressed homeowner from fear to understanding to action. And here it is. It gave me the prompt with all the slides. Told Gamma exactly what to do. And it's still writing. And it also gives, because I've been using it for other things, the options: sell traditionally, cash offer, cash plus offer, sell and stay, all this stuff. Transparent offers, the online offer platform, renovate to sell. And so it's writing all this here, and all I need to do is copy it and then go over to Gamma, create a new AI, and Gamma's $12 a month. You can use it for free for 10 slides, but this presentation is going to be more than 10 slides. So all I do is paste it in here. And what I'm going to do is take out this first part. And I want it traditional. You can switch it to a tall or default or however you want it, but I want an actual PowerPoint presentation. So normally I would take the time to go through and correct things if needed. So now I'm going to generate from notes or an outline. So it's going to take me to another. And here it's put together the cards. On a listing presentation, I want it detailed because I want the homeowner to see. And here it's going to say who it's writing for: homeowners facing pre-foreclosure seeking clear, empathetic guidance in American English. The tone is calm, understanding, supportive, plain spoken. And then here you can choose your templates. So they have all kinds of different templates here. You can base it on your brand colors, however you want it. I like using the blue one because one, it's our company colors, and two, it's calming.
Mhm.
So I'll just select a theme. Okay. So now I have too many cards. All right. So I am going to go back. Well, I'm just going to create it from here and forget the 2 cards.
Sure.
So just to save time. Otherwise, I would go back and tell ChatGPT to limit it to 20 cards. So here we are. It's creating.
That is so amazing how fast it is.
Yep.
And I got to tell you, I'm a salesperson. I like to sell real estate, negotiate contracts with buyers and sellers and investors. A lot of this stuff kind of overwhelms me, and it feels like it gets me off my game. I don't have to do anything. You just showed us in like 10 minutes by step exactly how to do it, which if you weren't teaching it, it'd probably take you 3 to 5 minutes to get a full-on slide deck for a presentation. What a great tool.
Yeah, it is an amazing tool. And the thing is this would take somebody hours to put this presentation together.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am doing it in minutes.
That's cool. That is super cool. Well, we got a couple more minutes. Kathy, are you so you've just put together, you went to chat first, told them exactly
Right.
what you want. It knows who you are. So because it's more of the garbage in, garbage out. The good stuff you come in, that's good stuff that comes out.
Yeah.
And now I'm blown away by the tools. I say, hey, set up a meeting with Kathy Ryan, and it automatically does exactly what I want. It comes in with a grateful, professional tone. It has a strong call to action. It puts my calendar link without me even asking. I mean, there's some really, really amazing tools. And look how crystal clear that is. That's a really clean presentation. So walk us through that, Kathy.
So it's still generating it because it was 20 cards, so it's going to take a little bit. But everything that I wanted is in here. I may have to go in and correct a few things and add my headshot and all of that. But look at these beautiful pictures.
Yeah.
Here.
That's nice. That's really nice. Clean, simple.
And here's a woman sitting here and she looks like she's in distress. So that is going to lead to that homeowner that is like, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to trust.
Yeah.
Where, what are my options? Where am I going to turn? And, it's just amazing on how I wouldn't change much in this, if at all. Understanding the timeline.
Just gave it a few prompts and boom, here you go.
Yep. There it is. So, yeah, that's my tool for the week.
I love it. I love it. So let's do a recap. First thing you did is you come up with an idea of things that we're recognizing that there's some default stuff going on. Because of our default background, we want to make sure that we're reaching out to those folks. Just a real quick disclosure. I don't want anyone to lose their home. I don't want anyone in distress. However, because I pay attention to that market, it's something that I know very well. Like Kathy, we know it very well. So we reach out to folks that are in that space, and those numbers are climbing, guys. That's why we're talking about the default space. Type in your information in chat, go in there and put together a slide presentation, then reach out to your database and invite them to a webinar, a seller workshop, or a buyer workshop, or whatever market you're interested in working with. Put together a nice presentation that you can reach out to that market, put all your marketing on social, send out some invites, and away you go. Kathy, any other last minute remarks before we move on to our friend Tim Yates?
I want to put in, if you want to know more about working with pre-foreclosures, I'll put in the chat here. I'll stop sharing my screen.
Mhm.
The link to my masterclass.
Yeah, it's a great class, guys. Tuesdays, 10 o'clock, Kathy, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, this is the master class specifically
master class.
for
Got it.
foreclosures.
Uh-huh.
And it is $97, but it's well worth it. When I started doing short sales, I paid $500 for a class on doing short sales.
I love it. I love
So-
it. Kathy, thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll have some time at the end. If you could be sure to drop your mastermind information in the chat box, that would be awesome. So everybody, because if you want to know about cash offers, guys, you need to know about cash offers. I know there's a couple of people on this call that I spoke to this week about cash offers. Jump on this that call, Kathy. So much. Anything else to add before we move on?
Well, yeah, with the cash offer platform, was on Joe Peterson's call yesterday about the property pages that are rolling out next week. Those are awesome, guys. I mean, it's a game changer in how you're going to present to people, to homeowners, these cash offers. Not only that, but it moves into what Robert coaches on in the online offers. And it's going to be an amazing, powerful tool to use. If you're not using iList, you need to be.
You're missing out for sure. Kathy, thank you so much. We're going to go to Tim Yates. Tim Yates, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Let me get my things shared up here, get through this part.
Take it away, Tim Yates.
And then let's see here.
Hey, who's that guy? I recognize him.
And then, all right, I got too many darn screens. All right, hold on, bear with me. There we go. Up there, presenter view. Okay. All right, how's everybody doing?
Excelente, sir. Take it away.
All right, so this was a great segue. Kathy, great job. Thank you for sharing and showing the ChatGPT technology, the AI technology. It is a fantastic tool for everyone to use. However, I want to share some insight with you guys on what's going on with that. There is one group in particular that absolutely hates ChatGPT more than any other group that's out there. And can you guess what that group is?
The attorneys.
No, it's the judges.
The attorneys that become judges. Got it.
And here's why. Probate cases now used to involve people that didn't have an estate plan. The majority of probate cases that are in place now on the court calendar are people that try to do their own documents themselves utilizing ChatGPT. So you guys need to understand something. We have a business model that allows people to protect their entire lives for hundreds of dollars, maybe a couple $1,000s. Yet you are going to encounter some people that are going to say, Anthony, thank you for telling me about that service. You know, I definitely want to get a prenuptial agreement drafted up before I get married, but you know, I'm going to do it myself. All right, you know, I can just type it in the chat and it'll pull it up for me, and I'm good to go. Well, the reality is this: is that not anytime soon, until actually attorneys and judges in our courts are actually eliminated, will ChatGPT AI legal documents ever be a viable resource for people. They're going to unfortunately think that they can cut a corner and do that, only to find out that they're going to be in front of a judge one day, and because of their lack of whatever it is, to spend a few $100s or have a couple $1,000s spent to actually have attorneys and people that know the law getting things up and organized. Now, here's the thing I tell you guys about. Our software systems that we utilize are automatically updated annually when the legislators pass new laws in different states, the courts, case law, you know, from the IRS and tax law. All of those things are fed into our system. So when we prepare legal documents for our clients, they're getting the latest and greatest. Okay. So if you come across the client when you launch this second part of your business and you come across people that are going to basically balk at spending a few $100s or a few $1,000s, you know what? Don't waste your time. Just tell them, hey, buyer beware. Just, good luck. Because it's foolish. And we have a couple of close friends of ours are judges, and they are very frustrated with that fact that the courts are getting more backlogged only because people realize they need to get documents done, but they're doing it themselves. And if you compare them side by side, it's ridiculous. An estate plan created by us on the right side can average between 120 to 150 pages. I've seen people show me their living trust that they created, and it's like 15, 20 pages. Again, good luck. So I want you guys to understand that ChatGPT is an amazing tool to help shortcut business marketing and things like that. But again, do not ever use it for any legal document because you're going to be in a world of hurt. And I just want to make that clear very upfront. Okay.
Hey, Tim, real quick, just to bring up the point, I have a client that drew up lease agreements and had a problem with them. So yeah, that's a very valid point. Thanks for bringing that up.
I mean, before chat, though, people will still do that. People would Google it and they could find boilerplate templates. Do you know any contracts that I've seen that I saw people cut and pasting paragraphs from different contracts and then putting it together and like, here you go. I'm like, it's only missing one thing. Where's the crayon marker? Where are the crayon outlines on this bad boy? Good luck. So again, if people say, like I said, just like, oh, AI is going to put real estate people out of business, tomorrow. There's going to be no more real estate agents. It's all going to be virtual. There's going to be no more attorneys. Oh, then that means there's no more courts. That means there's no more law. Come on, give me a break, people. It's going to help us. But again, understand that there's a place and a time for everything. Thousands of years from now, that's a different story. But I'm talking about right now in the next, 2 to 3 decades. I think everyone's going to just learn how to utilize these tools to better themselves and their business model. So enough of ChatGPT. Great job on that, Kathy. I love it because it does shortcut a lot of things on that. Now, I want to get into some real numbers here. I'm going to talk about the $2.8 million missed opportunity because it ties right into the BT agent that I mentioned earlier, the beta tester, where he ended up making an additional $77,500 because he got 3 listings, plus he made $2,500 on top of that through the uncontested divorce filing. And so when you put it all together, the reality of it is that he would have missed out on that money if he wasn't understanding how to utilize our systems in a way that gets you into relationships with people with life events. Okay. So the reality is that most agents are not losing deals. They're just missing them entirely. And the other thing too is people, what I love about this is the days of me saying to you or coaches saying to you, hey, continue to build your database. Big database equals what? Big business. Small database equals small business. You know what? That's a bunch of BS. You want to know why? Because our system is not about adding more people to your database. It's about utilizing the existing people you have and giving them more business, getting more business from them. Because before you offered one service to them, maybe it was financial planning, maybe it was notary, maybe it was real estate, maybe it was loans, whatever. Now you're going to have a menu of suites that you can offer, and then you can go through what I call the law of 250. The law of 250 is every human being on planet Earth, and again, it's a general poll, but let's take America here, knows 250 people. We're connected to 250 people. So if you have 250 people in your database, each one of those people has another 250 in their life and another 250. So again, it goes out really, really quickly. So with our systems, you're going to be able to drill down deep into your initial database. Heck, I would rather have you start with 15 people in your database that know you, like you, and trust you, because I guarantee you, I could take our model with your 15 people and beat that agent or that other person that's got 500, 600, 1,000 people in our database. So it's going to change the ball game, you guys. This is going to be a game changer on what we're going to do. So again, we're going to talk about the $2.8 million missed opportunity that every agent right now is experiencing, but you can apply this number to any business model, that you have. Okay. So again, $2.8 million reality is that events are happening every single day. Every single day in your database, in your SOI, there are life events happening to those people every single day. Now, the reason why you're not getting more listings from them or more deals is because you're not part of that inner circle of even hearing about a life event that has happened, okay? You're not a part of it. And so when we talk about a part of what, the events that we're talking about, again, are marriage, divorce, someone's going to have a baby, someone just lost a job, someone needs to relocate, someone just came into some money through an inheritance, like all these things. And if and most, even my closest friends, you would expect that I would hear some of these things that are going on. You don't. You never hear about these things, and so you need to put yourself into a position where when those events happen, they automatically think of you. First call, man, I got to call Tim. Did you hear what happened? I got to call Tim. Oh my God, this happened. I got to call Robert right away. Got to get on the horn with Robert on this one, And before, Robert was a real estate professional. Why the hell would they ever call Robert if they just inherited, if they not just inherited a bunch of money because you sell property, but if you had a family divorce or you had a family crisis or someone lost a job, all those things come into play. They wouldn't call Robert, only until they know for a fact that they need to conduct a real estate transaction. And a lot of the times they're not sure if they do or not because they're not sure which way they want to go. So understanding that's important. Now, we've talked about the 3 types of agents before, you guys, and there's really only 2 types of agents. We created a whole new category. So you have the transaction agent and your relationship agent. We already covered what those are, but I'll touch on them in case you haven't been here. Transaction agent, you live deal to deal. I do a transaction, I move on. I do a transaction, I move on. There's no real touchy-feely emotions in it. It's very robotic. Relationship-based agent is that person that does feel and value a relationship with people. But again, the problem within those that they get so involved in the relationship components of things, they don't get more and more deals. They are living deal to deal because of that. They're not multiplying those transactions through that. So the category we're creating is a certified legacy pro agent. Again, that's where, again, you are going to become the go-to person. You are going to go be that person where you say, I got a guy, I got a gal, Robert's got a problem. Hey, I got a guy for that. Hey, Kathy's got a problem. Hey, I got a gal for that. That's where it comes into play. And that's where it gets really, really interesting. So let's talk about listings specifically, but also apply it to your business model if you're not in real estate. So where do they come from? They come from life events, right? And that's why, Robert, you and I've talked a lot about this back in the day, and it's still valid today. I would tell agents all the time, get to have a good relationship with a family law attorney, with an estate planning attorney, people that are financial planners, things like that, right? That's absolutely necessary. But so now you are becoming all of it together under one ecosystem. So no longer do you have to say, hey, I got this person, I got that person, I got that person. You get to say, hey, I'm that person. That's a powerful thing now to say, I'm that person. I'm now all these people in one. And so when you start to understand where things come from, why they come from there, and how they're going to connect with you, then it starts to connect. And that's when you start to get that compounding effect with your business. So the missed opportunity, and this is something that, again, I love numbers because numbers tell a story. And when I create a business model, I learned this from a professor of mine in grad school in an economics course I was taking. And he's a Harvard trained economist, and I had a lot of respect for him, but man, his class was intense. But he showed me how to create business plans specifically with mathematics. I would write a business plan and it wouldn't be paragraphs in writing. It would be in code almost. And that business model was all about telling a story, but it told a story with numbers and math, and it didn't tell it in a language format. And it changed everything. So as I start to teach you guys how to apply some of these principles, it's going to blow your mind, and it's going to change your business, and it's going to change your life forever. Now, let's do some simple math on some of these things here. So when I came up with the number 2.8 million, that missed opportunity, that wasn't just a random number I pulled. It was based on real research, real conversations with real estate professionals all over the country. A lot of data was pulled into this. Now, so we're going to do simple math, and we talked about this, touched on a little bit last week, but 200 homeowners, okay? 200 homeowners, 10% of those 200 are going to experience a major life event annually. So that number means 20 people. So you have 200 homeowners in your database. 20 of them are going to experience in the next 12 months a major life event. Now, if you could look at that and say, oh my God, that means I have an opportunity now to get 20 more transactions under my belt. That changes everything. Now, but here's the way I look at it, though. It's no judge. I don't look at it as 20 more opportunities to make money. I look at it as 20 more people I can help. I want to help 20 more lives, 20 more souls on planet Earth. And so, but through that, guess what? The money follows. So if you take the average commission amount times 20, that's $280,000. Now, I don't know anybody who would be upset about adding an additional $280,000 to their income in 12 months. That's pretty darn good money, okay? Now, when you apply that same principle over 10 years, that's where we get the 2.8 million. Okay. And the best part about it, as I mentioned, it's not from new leads, you guys. It's from the existing database you already have. So no longer are you going to have to go out there and say, oh my God, I need to keep building my database. Build. No, you don't. Don't add a single person to your database. What you're going to do is you're going to focus on getting the information to the existing people that know you already, and you're going to show them what you can now do for them. And then you're going to ask for them to give you a shot. And they're going to give you a shot, whether it's something as simple as, hey, I'm starting a new business, Robert. Can you, I see on your website you help with LLCs. Can you form an LLC for me? Robert's going to say, absolutely, done deal, boom. That's the first step. And then it keeps rolling in. So that's the beauty of it. You guys look at your databases right now. So when we talk, I don't care if you have 5 people or 5,000 people, it's about making sure you have real relationships with those people. And if anything, we're going to start tossing people out of the database that don't know you and don't have any relationship with you. Because to me, it starts with, I make a phone call. If someone knows who Tim Yates is, that we're in business. They don't need to really know me, but they need to know my name. So if I call him, hey, it's Tim Yates. Oh yeah, Tim. Versus, hey, it's Tim Yates. Who the hell are you? What are you trying to sell me? I'm not interested. Click, get him out. Boom, out. Okay. All right. Next step. So again, why do agents miss the $2.8 million? Why do they miss $280,000 a year in additional income? It's because there's no system in place that allows them to truly stay in touch when it comes to life events. Specific life events. Okay. The other thing too is even when I used to talk to agents about talking about life events, because there's not scripts that are circulating to almost to the legal side of things without being legal advice, is understanding that people have a fear of saying the wrong thing. So when you're out of your comfort zone and all of a sudden you're great at talking about real estate and the market and numbers and interest rates and inventory, but then you start talking about prenuptial agreements. What is that? Postnuptial agreements. Well, what is that? Uncontested divorce. Hey, how to form a corporate entity. How to, my children now are turning 18. How do I make sure that they're going to make the right decisions for their healthcare directives and things like that? All these things. Guess what? It just starts to become second nature. Our program that we're launching is going to have daily, weekly, monthly training that's going to get you so comfortable talking about these areas. And then you're going to be able to focus on real conversations with real people. And you're not going to be chasing leads anymore. That's the other thing too. No more building your database. No more chasing leads. It's a game changer for you. Okay. So again, system is creating a system for it. Okay. We now have a system. Okay. We now have a system. We know the conversations that you're going to have and what you need to have. And then you understand now, you're going to understand where listings come and how long they started before you even got into the conversation, and how lucky you were, though, to actually get that listing, because you had no idea all the things that happened behind the scenes that maybe caused you not to get the listing. So we want you to have full control, and the control starts with the conversations that you're going to have, and we're going to teach you again. When we look at, I call it the conversation bridge. How do I create a conversation with somebody that maybe I've never talked to that much? The only conversations I've ever had with them was either about maybe real estate or notary or tax or finance or whatever. So again, it's going to help you understand that you're going to have these conversations that are going to start out of curiosity. I always like to start out from a position of, I'm just curious, it's curiosity. Do you have a living trust? Is your property titled, is it currently, titled properly? All these different things. I'm not going to go through each bullet point, but the main thing is that it all starts with the conversation. And right now, if I just said go out and have conversations, some of you are going to be really good at it because you're just natural and you're able to just, hey, segue it into, hey, it's Robert. I know I normally call you about real estate, but hey, I want to call and talk to you about divorce. You're not going to just jump right into that. You're going to segue into that, and again, just like the BT that happened when we got him up to speed on uncontested divorce cases. That was his first conversation that he had, but thank God we actually trained him, and he felt comfortable having a conversation with the father, and then the daughter, and then the soon-to-be ex-husband. And so again, it all worked out for him. All right. The psychology, again, the thing that we understand is that homeowners, don't wake up and to list their properties. They're not thinking about, hey, I'm looking at selling my home. I'm thinking about selling my home. They're reacting to life changes. Again, all these things equate to emotions, decision, and then real estate action. And a lot of times too, again, I see agents doing this constantly. It's waiting for that phone call. Hey, I need to list my house. Well, what? Then you find out kind of what's going on. A lot of times, I'm sure, Robert, with you, when people call you to do a real estate transaction, after they tell you they're going to do it, you kind of get more information like, why is it happening? Then it usually leads into us, unfortunately, Sally and I are divorcing. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. But imagine if they already called you and you were already helping them with that situation. Automatically, you got the listing. It's not even a conversation now. They're not going to call you and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about selling my home." You're guiding them through that process, so you're doing it all together. So just remember, when it comes to real estate specifically, because it's such a big decision, people are going through this process, and now you're going to be able to interject your life into them long before they even think about buying or selling real estate. All right, I'm going to keep chugging along here. I want to power through these and go to some Q&A. So, here's the thing, you guys, you got to realize. The other night I watched, and I love this movie. It's the McDonald's movie, about Ray Kroc. And we're Padre owners, we know the Kroc family, and we understand that whole process. But there was a scene in the movie when Ray was sitting down, and that one gentleman was telling me, and said, "Hey, look, you're not in the hamburger business. Here's your problem. You don't know what business you're in. You're not in the hamburger business. Well, what business? You're in the real estate business." His whole thing was that he thought I was, and I'm making hamburgers, but he's making 1.3 cents on every hamburger, and he's not making any money. And then it was that aha moment of like, actually, you're in the real estate business. You're going to own the land underneath the building, and you're going to become the world's largest real estate company business owner in the world, because that's how you're going to do it. So I'm going to help you guys understand and position your mindset is you're not in the real estate business. You're not in the mortgage business. You're not in the tax business. You're not in the notary business. You are in the life event business. Right? You are the go-to person now for all life events. So you are no longer that. And again, it's freeing because now you have a deeper emotional connection to the people around you, and because you have real solutions for them. This isn't pie in the sky. This is real solutions that help. But the best part about it, though, is you're gonna see your listings dramatically increase because of this. You're gonna see your other business dramatically increase because of this. So just insert the fact that you're no longer in your business. You are in the life event advisory business, period. All right. Getting closer to the end. We got a few more here. Now, again, so when you talk about the positioning shift, okay, again, you're no longer asking for business. You're offering people advisory awareness. That changes everything. So when we talk about understanding that people are out there saying, "Hey, please think of me," or if you're buying or selling, please think of Tim Yates, think of Robert, think of me if you're thinking of doing that. Those days are over. You don't have to ask for any more business. In fact, you're no longer selling anything. You're no longer asking for business. You're going to create and utilize a marketing campaign that's going to inject you into the lives of your people. And that's where you're going to stay and grow and build. So it's going to change everything for you. And I'm seeing it happen with our BTs in different markets. And again, it's one thing to have a concept of a system in place. It's another thing to actually see it working. And when you guys are really launching this, It's going to happen fast. I guarantee you, you guys are going to all of a sudden, I know Anthony right now has a big database. He's chomping at the bit. I can't wait to set him loose because I know we're going to be changing a ton of lives. And I know he's going to see his business go through the roof now because he's going to be offering all these other services that feed into it. And more importantly, though, it's going to change how they view Anthony. They're going to look at Anthony as a family member now, a trusted advisor. It's the most important position you can hold in a family, is that person that everyone goes to because they know you, like you, and trust you. And you're going to have the ability to do that. And that's what's really exciting about this whole thing. Going back to kind of, the shift again on this role is that understanding that this program is also not about learning scripts. Yeah, I'm going to give you guys scripts. You guys are going to get comfortable with it because I want you to be comfortable with it, because here's how we're going to do it. When you're launching things, you have a menu item. Not all of you are going to list all the items on the menu right out of the gate. We're going to ease into it. We're going to really focus on estate planning, which is the big one first. That's the one that everyone truly, truly needs. And it's the most impactful one we can do right now. So we're going to get you guys really comfortable in having those conversations. And then those conversations will feed into another category. So what we're going to see is some of you are going to have 2 items on your menu item. Some of you might have 3, some of you are going to have 4. And as we grow this, the menu item will change and grow, just like the McDonald's menu board has done that. Again, it's going to be constantly evolving and changing and offering more things, okay? The best part about this, you guys, is you don't need to know everything. I know some of the early testers that we had, they felt like they were drinking out of a fire hose, and that was my fault because I figured, let's just see what we can do and throttle it up and see how fast they can process the information and how quickly I can turn my conversation from someone like Robert, who's been successfully practicing real estate for 150 years now, right? About 150 years, Robert. You look great, by the way. You look really good for 180-year-old man. But in all reality, though, how fast it's going to be able to talk to Robert and say, hey, you know what, Robert, I'm not going to ask you about real estate today. Hey, tell me what you think about postnuptial agreements. What's your thought on a postnuptial agreement? Great. Okay. What about prenups? What about pre and post? What about those two? What do you think? What do you think we can interject in this area? No, things like that. So again, we're going to start off with scripts. You don't have to know everything. That's the beauty of it, though. We're going to get you initially where all I want you to do and be able to talk the talk. The best part about it is you don't need to walk the walk because our systems do the walking. You do the talking. It works out, and it's a beautiful thing. That's what I love. All right. The one thing, too, that I want to make sure that you guys understand is as you start to look at your database right now is identify 25 people in your database. And you want to start to figure out that one simple conversation you want to have with them. Again, start off with estate planning. That's the conversation you're going to have, okay? So identify 25 people. Start with one simple conversation, and then you're going to start to, that's where you're going to start to position yourself as the go-to person for that. So when that happens, what happens is this. You have these conversations with that 25. Once those 25 people feel like, my God, Robert knows what he's talking about, and Robert has a better solution than any other service. I talk to other attorneys. They're going to charge me $2,500, $3,500. I'm looking at an online program that, I can do maybe $500, but I'm not getting actual real professionals backing it and consulting with me on it. I'm not getting a real attorney to talk to me and go through my documents. We have the best of both worlds in this. But once that happens is those 25 people that you have a new conversation with are no longer thinking of Robert as just a real estate person. They're like, damn, Robert is my trust guy now. So when they start to have conversations with their 25 people and they say to that second or third level person, their cousin that they say at the party, and they talk about estate planning, Robert now just popped up in their head. I go to Robert for estate planning now. Oh, the beautiful thing is when I go to Robert for estate planning, and then we go through this process, and they go to Robert and they say, "Hey, Robert, let me ask you something. I'm thinking of selling my home, and should I get an estate plan before or after I sell my home?" Boom. Now Robert's going to say, "Well, let me ask you. Do you already have an agent representing you in the sale?" And then the agent says, I'm thinking about using Then Robert could say, well, listen, here's, as you may or may not know, I'm also an experienced real estate professional, been doing this for, 150 years. And, and I would love to be able to assist you with both of these processes because they work hand in hand. And I promise you, this will be the most seamless process and the most affordable process you're going to ever experience. Can we talk about that? And now guess what? Now you got a listing that you would have never maybe gotten before because that conversation derived from estate planning at a party from a cousin. Make sense, you guys? Thumbs up. Let's see some thumbs up. All right. Excellent. All right. So 3 takeaways from this again is you are sitting on an opportunity. An opportunity is all we can ask for in life, or opportunities. I tell that to my kids all the time. All you can ask for is an opportunity. What you do with it is up to you at that point. Okay. Your database is your business. Okay. That's always been that way. That's not changing. I'm not saying that, database is your business. I'm saying that we're going to operate your database differently now, a way that's never been taught before in most areas, and it's going to be a great thing. Life events are your entry point into creating a legacy for yourself and a business for yourself that you've always fantasized and dreamt about, but it's never happened. The days of I'm doing all these things but I'm not really making much money are going to be over, you guys. You follow this plan, it's going to be over. Your life will change. All I expect for you is to take me out to dinner sometimes. And not just Applebee's like Robert likes to say, Tim, I got a fancy restaurant for you, buddy. We're doing Applebee's again. I'm just kidding. No knocking Applebee's. Hey, it's good. I'm not a fancy restaurant guy, so it's all good. But in all seriousness, though, you guys, it's a tremendous opportunity, and you can grow it as big as you want, and I'm excited to be a part of that. All right, so let's just segue and talk about next week. The next week's class, we're really going to get more into the conversations. We're going to talk really bit more about the scripts. I hate sales. I don't like to sell. I like to educate. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how you open the door naturally now to your database, and how you actually get them to start to talk to you and respond to these other services and these situations that you're going to have. So it's going to turn into real opportunities, because these conversations are going to be real, heartfelt, deep, meaningful, and that's what all comes together. So that's what I have for today. I'm losing my voice. It's 11 o'clock. I apologize. I went a little over on this, but I'm shutting it down now. And I'd be open to any questions you guys have. And how the hell do I turn this thing off?
Stop share. That's okay. I'll do it.
Can you do it? Yeah, I'm like looking around. Where do I see stop share? I got too many buttons up here. All right. Let me know when you're able to stop sharing it.
You got it, brother. Let me let's do this. Stop
share. Go exit and see what happens.
There you go. Oh, no, still sharing. Just go hit stop share.
Where do I see hit stop share?
It should be right in your
should be at the top of the frame.
Yeah, the top of the frame says share, but it doesn't say stop share. It says share, copy link.
I'll do it. So anyway, so let's do this. Thank you, Coach Kathy, for everything. You've laid out some really great chat goodies and how to put together a presentation. Tim Yates, again, knocked it out of the park with some living trust and some, I think at the end of the day, both Kathy and Tim talked about something important. And I've always run my business this way, is being the trusted advisor. If somebody needs to paint their home, I got a guy. If somebody needs a plumber, I got a guy. Somebody needs to move, I want anyone to call me for everything. If they need a new car, I got a guy. You understand my point. Tim's laid out some amazing stuff. So, Tim, thank you so much. Any questions for Tim before we get on with our Friday afternoon? Any questions for Tim or Kathy, for that matter, before we say goodbye today? This is the interactive part.
Hey, Tim, quick comment. I'm going to call you after this meeting, okay?
Yeah, I saw we got to schedule. Do you want to talk? Looks like we're on the docket for tomorrow, but if you want to do today, I'm fine with that too.
Yes, in regards to our upcoming meeting.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, just call me as soon as we hang up.
Excellent, excellent. So Kathy brought in, I don't know if you guys saw the chat box. Kathy has an amazing website with all of her events. Kathy, you and I will talk about that in a little bit. That's fantastic. All her events are on there. Tim left some calls to action. If there's nothing else, you guys, I really appreciate it. Our goal each week is just to bring you details that you can help you grow your business. You know, we're not trying to sell you anything. We're just trying to introduce to you some tools to help you grow your business. So with that said, I want to welcome everybody to come back next week. Tim, you have a question real quick before we say goodbye?
Real quick, we're not recording right now, are we? Or are we?
We certainly are. That's why I was going to close out.
Okay, close out. Yeah. Then I got a story to say.
And by the way,
Okay.
that website I put together yesterday with the help of ChatGPT.
I know you did. Well, you guys, I tell you what, we'll have some idle chit chat after we're done recording. Thanks for everybody for jumping on to the More Training, Coaching, and Accountability Mastermind with Coach Kathy Ryan, Tim Yates, and myself. We appreciate it. Have a great Friday, and we'll see you next week. We'll stop recording. We'll certainly keep the conversation going. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you in escrow.